Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. I am your host, Leafy Potato, and welcome to another NRTS 1v1 match. This one played between yours truly and TheMatWay. Here on, I will refer to him as Matt. That's just kind of how it's been in the community. Playing, I believe, our first 1v1 together, though this is unranked. Here we have Hidden Valley. I spawn in as the blue commander, Matt as the red commander. This is going to be an interesting match. Immediately I go with a very standard opener. Don't want to do anything too terribly cheesy. Just go ahead and open up with Militia. Militia open with no up CC gives you the most flexibility as well. If you notice that your opponent's doing something a little bit sketchy, you can cut your Militia production, make a Jeep, and then you can start harassing around their farms if they're being ridiculously greedy. If they make a third worker, for example, you can just get across the map and start hitting at them. And it'll slow your eco down, but it'll slow theirs down more. Move out towards green. Green's kind of just going to be the fight between blue and red. It is the shortest path between command centers and therefore the most vital to control. If you own green and your opponent does not in red versus blue, you're doing very, very well, as they can't move through the closest path to your command center, but you can move freely in the closest path to theirs. It kind of forces them to tuck their forces up into their own little area, and then they start having a hard time fighting around the map. So, just posturing a little bit here, Matt has a little bit better access to the middle of the map. That's how it is with red versus blue. He gets into that position. You see he's lined up diagonally against my troops. We have equal troops here. He can't really push forward. I can't really push forward. I move a worker forward to take a farm because he doesn't have that many troops that he could use to fight it without giving up the middle. He decides instead he'd rather give up the middle. So 5 militia go and will destroy that one farm, which, okay, yeah, it won't have paid for itself by the time that it does get destroyed. But it earns me pretty much uncontested access to the middle of the map, which is usually something that red gets the privilege of, at least for the early game. Of course, I could have attacked it later on through purple, but I digress. I'm feeling great. Moving forward, he's got his units sort of out of formation. They're in a decent enough formation now. I decide that I'm going to move up. I'm going to see if I can't push this position a little hard. See if I can't earn a farm in his own mainland. Just force the issue really quickly. I get some decent damage done here, but at this point, he's got his new troops rallying from his command center, and I've got troops rallying across the map right now, but they're going to take a while to get here. And I go ahead and send them towards the corner farms that Red's got. Matt marches forward with his militia, and I, for some reason, decide that I'm going to try to poke at him with mine, and go back to micro my worker. As I check back in, my 6 militia are getting destroyed as we speak, and there is pretty much nothing I can do to prevent this at this point. That's just greed. You play with fire, you get burned. So yeah, Matt is effectively just up 6 militia at this point. This is very, very, very bad for me. If you were not aware, losing a minute of militia production before 3 minutes have passed in a 1v1, not good for winning. I decide I'm going to try to make a tower in the corner here, see if I can't hold on to one of these farms in the middle, because the middle of the map really is my strongest position right now. I am panicking to remake militia. Mercifully, Matt didn't have a worker near his command center to start making a house. He does decide to make it out near Purple's base, and that can be a long-term liability, but that's only relevant provided I can last long enough. He gets on this tower before it's done building. I get a little scared with my worker. I tuck it behind the tower a little early. The tower ends up taking a lot of damage, and it will eventually go down, but it will take some militia out with it. Okay, so tower's pretty much paid for itself, but it has not made up for the fact that I have lost a billion militia. Matt does the reasonable thing, now that he owns the middle again, goes and takes it. I take a farm over in his corner, and I have destroyed a second farm over at his base. Okay, great, awesome, groovy, grand. Anyways, what I was saying about that house thing is because he didn't have a worker back at his own command center, Matt was unable to make a house and therefore was stuck at 8 militia, and his 8 militia were damaged, so I can sort of fight him. You see here, I'm fighting with 3 militia against Matt. He wasn't paying attention to his troops. I get a flank on them, and immediately they destroy 2, and they will end up destroying a little bit more. We see I lose a worker that was greedily trying to build the farm near his base. I was trying to get a turret or something up there. Yeah, that's a pipe dream. So losing a worker, not great. But I have sort of stabilized the militia position here. I'm being a little bit aggressive. He's deciding to make static defense in the middle of the map, which I think is the right call. I have still been destroying a lot of his farms. He's taking farms around the map right now, and by rights, he has more access to the map. That's the right thing to do. I've got some damaged militia here that have been skirmishing with Matt. Matt's got some fresh militia, which have not been skirmishing. And he's got a couple damaged ones in the middle now. So I'm in a bit of a dangerous position. I hug the formation of my militia against the rock here so that I can only be flanked from one direction. Matt does not bring his 2 militia over to the fight. Very, very nice for me. Okay, so I'm moving forward again. I apparently haven't learned my lesson here. But I do have 7 militia against what is now 5 and, well, 6. He's producing yet more from his command center here. So now we're at pretty even standing, except I've got more HP lost on mine. Taking fire from Green's command center is never great. I decide that I am going to just camp behind this farm for just a second. And so far, it hasn't really gone too terribly well for me. Both of us lose a militia. That's not terrible. If I can trade with Matt in terms of militia, then I can make up for my losses. Okay, so I'm ahead, 2 militia killed somehow. Apparently, I've just been microing well enough. I form up a battle line. It's not terrible. Matt decides to back off. Honestly, he probably could have crushed me if he just decided he wanted to. I move in to kill another one of his corner farms. This has got to be the most obnoxious thing that I could possibly do. Making a farm in the middle of the map is Matt. Very confident that he can hold this position. Of course, he does still have a lot of troops out on the map, but I think I've done a decent enough job keeping his army small enough that I can deal with it. And he only owns 5 farms on his own heights, which is the part that you should have better control over than anywhere else. So, yay, my greed has been paid for. So, live by the sword, die by the sword. I died in 2.5 minutes, and apparently I'm living at 6 minutes, so life is good. I finally back off, though, because the majority of my militia formation is extraordinarily damaged, the militia that we're fighting over near his corner farms. I cannot be affording to skirmish with them, because as soon as I start losing militia, you lose the fight really quickly, once you lose 1 or 2. Getting a little close to Green's command center, basically trying to anchor my formation against Green's command center so that Matt can't flank me. He has to just fight me straight up, which is good. He could try to go around through the middle here, and speaking of the middle, we see a vehicle depot dropping. I suppose he's confident with his position being pretty good, though all in all, he only has 2 houses right now. He's lost a lot of the farms at his own base, so he will be retaking them, so here in about a minute, he's going to be pretty strong. I decided to drop an air pad. 122 eco isn't a lot, but it's enough to make a chopper once every 30-ish seconds, and that should be fine for trying to stabilize this game. I'm going to still be on the back foot here, and I'm feeling it, but Matt's a little behind on houses, and his housing so far is very exposed out on the map. I'm taking the farms that I own on my own heights right now so that Matt will have to attack me pretty deep in order to get anything. He got a recon out first. This is not great for me. I do have my air pad finished. I will be queuing a chopper soon, but I do need to have a turret at this farm if I ever hope to keep it. And the turret's going to do a lot of damage here, but yeah, it's kind of scuffed. Okay, so we start a fight here. Near Green's command center. You see the militia over in the corner. I just lost like 4 or 5 militia, all because they were damaged. I did manage to pick off a recon, but I have to back up right now. Matt's got something like a 50% troop advantage on me. If he just charges forward, I die. So I'm in full retreat mode. He's got 15 or 16 militia coming towards me. I've got 10, and most of mine are damaged. 10 militia does not beat 15 or 16 any day of the week. It's not even close. Okay, and so he's just going to march up to my territory and push me around. I do have a chopper, so I can take that to his farms, but right now my militia are on defense mode. Right, he's got a lot of exposed farms. He does have an exposed house, so I can attack him in a way that'll really, really hurt him. And if for whatever reason he's just got a recon out in the open, I can strike at the recon with my chopper, because choppers will beat recons in a 1v1. Population space really isn't a concern to me right now. I'm looking out for an anti-air. If he does decide to queue an anti-air, then my life gets pretty difficult. I feel confident skirmishing with Matt now, since I do have my production close to the front lines, and right now he's putting money into vehicles and not into militia. So with time, I will be able to take okay fights against just his militia formation, but I do have to back off as soon as recons march forward, otherwise I lose my whole army. Am managing to get damage done on one of his houses, just checking up on my chopper, making sure he's shooting at something. He's got a house and a farm, so that's fine. Matt, very scary army here. Still maneuvering around, decides that he wants to rampage through my territory. I'm taking a lot of his farms. He's got farms back in his own territory and out on the map, so not a terrible decision. But the way that he goes about it isn't so great. So we're not attacking the turret first. It will get a whole bunch of value. We get units close to the other farm, or closer to the farm than the turret, and I get my army in position. So his units aren't shooting at my units. My units were shooting at him. The turret was up for a while, so it got a lot of good damage done. Turrets deal 24 damage every shot. That's more than half of a militia's HP. And we see I just managed to clean up the entirety of his army. Now I have a low HP chopper because of it, but now I've got militia on the map and he doesn't. He's got a vehicle depot, but he doesn't have any vehicles. And so he just now starts queuing more stuff. I've got more tier 1 units on the map right now than Matt does. And I was behind. So it seems like Matt decided that he wanted to play with fire, and he got burned. So yeah, how's it taste? How's it taste? I send my choppers around now. He doesn't have much on the map that can contest them. He's still trying to make recons here. And yeah, with my not full chopper production, but enough chopper production, I should be able to just eat whatever recons he decides that he wants to produce, as I do right here. I just send my chopper after his recon, and I'll end up winning the 1v1 with a decent amount of HP to spare. I do lose a chopper over his own territory, which is not great, but it was a pretty low HP chopper. It more than did its job. While it would have been nice to have it alive for a hospital to heal it later, I can't be too bothered. I'm getting close to my population cap anyways. Exposed vehicle depot here. That's the one thing about turrets. You have to hug your structures against turrets if you want the turrets to protect them. And so instead I get 2 choppers shooting at a vehicle depot, so Matt will basically not have the option to make anti-air from here. At least until he makes a depot at home. So nice little pick here. I will be getting a house as well, provided he doesn't shove me out of this position, and if he tries, I've got way more militia on the map than him right now. I've got an actual fighting force. So map control solidly back in my favor. He's trying to make choppers in order to contest mine, but I've already got 3 choppers on the map. He's got 1. I've got about 3-4 times more militia than him. So even though mine are damaged, it really doesn't matter. Is making a vehicle depot in the back of his base, Matt. Meanwhile, I'm getting a generator as well with my choppers. Beautiful, beautiful. I just push forward. Just destroy his army, right? They're out in the open. They're not supported by static defenses. There's nothing else that he's got shooting at me right now. I can just bully him, right? He's got a chopper at about the same HP that I do. I've got 2 extra choppers that are deleting all of his farms. I've got another one that's going to be rallying across the map soon. I've still got more militia than him at his base, to the point where it's going to be ridiculous for him to try to produce more militia. And because I've got choppers on the field already, militia only take 3 chopper shots, and then at the 4th they die. So yeah, the choppers can thin out his militia's HP really fast. Even if you get 3-4 militia shooting at a chopper, it's not great because you just lose so much HP so quickly. You can only produce 6 militia every minute, and at this point we're 12 and a half minutes in this game. I am choking out this position really well. I have map control. I'm starting to make more workers. I did make a 3rd worker that's replacing the one that I lost earlier. So 2 workers on the map right now. Got my choppers around harassing. Matt is about to own nothing except his command center farms and this turreted farm in the middle of the map. And so he's producing choppers. He's producing militia. We've got a bit of a fight going on. I'm still rallying choppers across the map though, and I can do that much more freely than he can. I've got 211 eco right now, allowing me to make choppers full time. 1 chopper every 20 seconds coming across the map every single minute. I've got 3 choppers added to this army, provided I've got population space, and that I certainly do. As my militia trade down, I will have better and better militia killing things. Now, should Matt decide that he wants to make an anti-air, this gets interesting, but I've still got pretty solid map control here, and my militia horde can at least fight the anti-air okay. I would probably have to get my own in order to stop his choppers from becoming a massive problem, though. Decides to make a recon instead. The recon would help him thin out my militia numbers, but it does not help him deal with my overwhelming amounts of choppers. Now, he is making choppers himself, but they're pretty expensive for the amount of fighting they can do. They're better for their skirmishing, but when you're locked in like this, you're not going to be getting much skirmishing done. The best value that Matt can realistically get with his choppers right now is hitting every one of my farms, and I've just got enough to blockade him. So this is the strangulation game. Matt is going to basically be snuffed out by his inability to take new farms, right? I'm out on the map. I've got the farms near yellow. I'm getting the farms near green. Heck, as soon as I can get a hospital placed down, I'll be taking Green's command center and the 4 farms there as well. And then I can just rinse repeat that with every other command center because Matt's locked in. He can't stop me from doing that, right? I can just spike my eco to something like 300-400 and then just outproduce whatever it is that he's trying to make, I can make 2 or 3 of. Right, we already see that in practice. I've got 7 or 8 choppers at the front lines. I'm still making militia just to help with the ground fight, just to help fight if he decides that he wants to start spamming anti-air. Of course, if he starts spamming anti-air, he's a little bit more passive, but all he needs is to get my choppers off of him for long enough for his to get on the map, and then he could start dealing some economic damage to me, make this game interesting. So, still making militia to help prevent that from being a problem. And I'm sending my choppers back around to try to poke at his worker. If he decides that he wants to pull his choppers back, I just get the 2 farms that he made in his corner that he will be not able to defend. I'm making a generator at the front, and soon I will have a hospital going down as well. You see I'm floating something like $300. Yeah, a hospital. And then, once I'm done with this, QQ with choppers. Or militia. Yeah, QQ with choppers. Currently, I am pop-locked. I don't know that I noticed that just yet. Matt's trying to move out, trying to actually take a fight here, but he just doesn't have enough guns. Being out-choppered can be something you can deal with if you've got good anti-air, but you just see right there, pretty much everything on the ground for Matt dies. As far as militia goes, he doesn't lose his choppers, but I don't lose mine. And then it gets simple, right? The match gets simplified. Once you remove everything else and it's just choppers, the numbers game matters. And I've got a hospital now, so this hospital will be repairing my choppers very, very quickly. Hospitals, 10 HP a second. Choppers, 90 HP total. If you have a chopper at the brink of death, it will heal to full in 9 hospital ticks. Hospital tick every 1.5 seconds, so, I mean, you can do the math if you really want to. I'm kind of tired, but I believe that is 25.5 seconds, and you get a full chopper. Comment down below if I suck at math. But, yeah. This is great. This is wonderful. Oh, as a matter of fact, no, I did the math wrong. 9 ticks times 1.5. Yeah, I definitely did the math wrong. It's way faster than that. It's every 13.5 seconds. So you actually produce choppers faster with a hospital than you do out of an air pad. And it costs you only $160 once instead of $192 a minute. Yeah, so hospital broken. I've got a hospital. Matt doesn't. I'm just going to start pushing into Matt over and over again now. And, you know, once I get like 2-3 hospitals set up, there's nothing really that Matt can do other than wait for me to get an upgraded vehicle depot and run him over. He's starting to make towers now, which is something that you can use to slow the game down. But slowing the game down when I'm in this position is terrible for Matt. He's got a light tank on the field. I really don't understand the logic behind that, unless you just think that my militia horde's the scary part. I do think that anti-air is the right call here if you're trying to get out of this blockade. Though towers aren't bad either, right? Air units can struggle to deal with static defenses when they're spammed. And so, yeah, making towers now, not bad. He's got enough forces that it's kind of costly for me to poke forward. He's got towers that are being supported now by his command center, but at this point, I've got a hospital. I've got enough damage choppers to keep this hospital doing its thing for pretty much forever, right? I can just keep generating value. And it's not like I'm just wasting HP every time that I poke forward, though sometimes I do waste HP. Every single time that I get into range of his choppers, mine shoot at his shoot at mine. I can heal off the damage that he does to me. He can't heal off the damage I do to him until he gets his hospital. So, every tick that hospital generates for me is another time that I can poke at him, and he can't deal with it. And if we look at the map now, this is just crushing, right? He has some access to go around through orange, send his choppers away, and try to harass my farms, but at this point I've got so many choppers, and he doesn't have any missile tech, he might just lose his command center if he doesn't have his choppers in position. Like, even if all I dive him with is choppers at this point. And you see, I'm just going to poke in range of the static defense right now, and I'll get my choppers to super low HP, but they're not dead. And you see, I'm struggling right now a lot with population space. I drop a vehicle depot that's going to get upgraded really soon, and then I've got a second hospital. I just want to be able to heal that much quicker, right? Producing, what's it? So a hospital generates 400 HP a minute. Choppers have 90 HP, so a little over 4 choppers every minute that you are not having to replace per hospital. Yeah, this is getting ridiculous. This is basically triple airpad production right now, minus the part where you create new choppers, plus the part where you don't have to replace dead ones. And yeah, so upgrading Vehicle Depot, 2 hospitals. I've got the whole map. Trying to make housing and whatnot. I believe at some point I end up queuing a whole bunch of workers, and yeah, you already see I've got 3 workers that I have back at home. This is something that a lot of people don't do, is making workers in the late game. Very, very good for you. Very, very good for you. Makes life a lot easier. Means that if you, for whatever reason, aren't on top of your macro all the time, you can still play an okay-ish game. I believe there was a quote. It's not that good players don't float money in RTS games. It's that the good players know what to spend their money on when they're floating and spend it. I don't know that that's the exact quote, but that's the idea. Anyways, getting close to $200, still trying to work on my situation. At this point, I'm just trying to spam houses and generators. If Matt ever gets to the point where he's shooting at any of my houses and generators anyways, I've messed something up really bad. I am just starting to clear out his towers now. He doesn't have that many to the point where I can't poke at him, and what towers he does have, I can start destroying slowly now. This is not the greatest of moves. I will end up losing a lot of choppers here because I get in a little too deep, but I'm trying to destroy his hospital because that's his most valuable thing. So at this point now, Matt cannot afford to skirmish with me. I lose a lot of choppers, but that's fine. I've got an artillery on the way. I've got an air pad that will be continuously producing, and the choppers that I do have will still be able to heal. Matt still has no air force. This is basically just a Matt cannot kill me at this point kind of move. I risk almost nothing. And so, trying to destroy yet more of his choppers, trying to prevent his workers from making new towers, get my militia in a position where they can start harassing. I've got an artillery on the field right now, but it almost doesn't matter. I'm striking at the vehicle depot. I don't want him to be able to make anti-air at all. I'm going to start striking at his housing and his farms, and I've got so many militia, I just kind of push him forward at this point. I could be rallying the artillery into position, but Matt's got almost no static defense. He's got a single turret, and that's going to be working its way through my militia horde very slowly. I'm getting my choppers healed back up, but at this point, the militia's done most all of the work. Good job, militia. Artillery comes in, and at this point, this is just domination. GG to Matt, very well played. Minus the part where he lost 2 recons and 15 militia for basically free. But, yeah, no, can't fault him for that, because I lost 6 militia in 3 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if this is the comeback of all time or if this is just a very exciting throw fest, but if you've watched all the way through, thank you very much for watching. Comment down below who's better at throwing between me and Matt. I do value your opinions greatly. In any case, I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember, stay classy.